Okay, guys, thanks very much for joining. My name is Rosalind, and I'm the Business Development Manager for Green Safaris. I'm sure a lot of you already know me. I see some familiar names popping up there on the participation list. So I'm just going to get straight into it. Green Safaris. This is our map that shows our properties that we currently have or own. I'm sure you all know by now that we acquired Sausage Tree and Potato Bush in Lower Zambezi in July, so that's fairly new. And with the purchase of those two properties came two barons. They're both four-seaters. They fall under ProFlight Charter for maintenance and for all the necessary right ticks. And we loved what Jason had done in terms of including the flights into Lower Zam. So we decided to roll that out to the rest of our properties. So that's really exciting news. And I'm going to spend a little bit of time on that because I know there's been a lot of questions around the Wings and Wheels incentive. So for those of you who don't know, the two properties down in Livingston, Tongabezi and Sindabezi. Up in Kafue, we've got Ila and Chisa. Up in South Luangwa, Shawa, Mawa and Lakoma Island, and then the two properties down in the Lower Zam. Sausage Tree and Potato Bush had introduced a private vehicle, skippers, guides, etc. And of course, we've decided to keep that. In fact, we haven't changed anything. Our idea and our mantra when we take over a property is why change a winning formula? And the only thing we do is sit back and watch and learn. And then perhaps if we feel that we can put in our little bit of sparkle here and there, and if it's needed, then we do that. Of course, we are all known for our sustainability and the silent safaris, and that next year is on the cards to look at, as well as community projects. We're very big into that in the areas that we're in. So we will be looking at that. We have done some changes already, just little ones. We've brought in air breezes into Sausage Tree. Potato Bush will follow. I know that we've changed some of the crockery and cutlery and some towels, just small stuff, but generally speaking, we feel that the product is pretty good as it is in terms of it's been successful as it is. So we're not going to change anything for now other than that. But just on the Wings and Wheels incentive, I get a lot of questions around this. So if you're staying 4 nights or more in our portfolio, not necessarily at one property, we will fly you from your closest international airport. And being Lilongwe, Lusaka, and Livingston. I had a question today around Mafui, and I said, no, Mafui, we don't really look at it as an international, although it is an international airport, we don't look at it as an international airport for all intents and purposes of the Wings and Wheels incentive. So if, for example, your clients are booking 2 nights at Tongabezi and 3 nights at Sausage Tree, we will fly them Lusaka to Jeki, Lusaka down to Livingston, and then end back at Livingston Airport. If your clients are booking Tongabezi, Sausage Tree, Shawa, and Mawa, we will fly them Livingston, Lusaka, Jeki, Mafui, can go via Lusaka, Mafui, Lilongwe, Lakoma, and then back to Lilongwe Airport, ending at Lilongwe Airport. If you are booking Tongabezi, Sausage Tree, and Mawa, but you are booking another property in South Luangwa, then the flights will end in Lusaka. You will need to cost in the option to Mafui, and of course Mafui to Lilongwe, but then we will pick up again in Lilongwe and take you to Lakoma and back, and that would be included in the rates. If you are booking Shawa and a third-party supplier in South Luangwa, so often that happens, clients will book 2 or 3 more properties in South Luangwa, then we will include the flight to Mafui from wherever the destination is. If, for example, you're booking Tongabezi, Chisa, Shawa, and Mawa, we will fly you Livingston to Chisa can go via Lusaka, Chisa to Mafue via Lusaka, Mafue to Lilongwe, Lilongwe, Lakoma, Lakoma back to Lilongwe. So the idea behind the Wings and Wheels incentive is we know that it's very difficult for some consultants who perhaps don't know Zambia that well, to put the puzzle together, and we are taking the hassle out of that. We're saying the nightly rate that you see on our rate sheets includes all flights, transfers, park fees, taxes, meet and greets in Lusaka, everything. And all you need to do is go 2 nights here, 3 nights there, bang, 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 and you know that you are covered. The only thing is to note is the routing of the flights will only be confirmed 45 days out, simply because we obviously want to try and do as many direct flights as possible. But if that isn't the case, if we've only got 2 people coming out of Lower Zam and we've got 2 people coming out of Chisa, we will meet up in Lusaka and then go carry on to Mafue Airport if that's where they're going, or down to Livingston if that's where they're going. Sometimes we do have refueling issues in Mafue, so we always like our agents to place on their confirmations that there is always a possibility that if a direct flight has been confirmed, that we may need to reroute through Lusaka if it is a refueling issue in Mafue, because otherwise the flights get stranded there and can't get out and get back again. But our camp managers will confirm that with your clients if that happens, and the consultants that you deal with will let you know as an agent that that has happened. We've now employed the services of Tours of Africa in Lusaka. Jason always used to include a meet and greet in Lusaka for any guests arriving, but not for departure. But we are now employing their services for all our clients moving in and through Lusaka Airport. Just to make it easier for them with the multiple connections, etc. And we're also doing our meet and greets in Livingston. We have our own guys that go straight through past immigration and meet you as you come through. The same in Lilongwe. So I hope that answers some of the questions around the Wings and Wheels incentive. One thing to note, Tongabezi and Sindabezi, we did not increase the rates from 23 to 24, simply because we know that that can be a standalone property, especially in green season when our other safari areas are closed. We didn't want clients to be able to come to us and say, oh, we're not using the flights, therefore we need to get a credit. So we've decided not to increase those rates. So actually, if you booked only 4 nights at Tonga, it would start at Livingston Airport, not in Lusaka. It only starts in Lusaka if you're combining with another property. What we have done, however, at Tongabezi and Sindabezi is to include a Livingston Island trip as part of our inclusions and road transfers as part of our inclusions. So we have included or added benefit to the rates, but not increased the rates. I hope all of you have received our Friday newsletter that went out, because we have done some further incentives on that, on the green seasons, around additional discounts for your clients, as well as the extra commissions. We've extended the green season at Tongabezi through to the 31st of May. So that includes Easter as well. So if any of you have not received that, please do drop me an email. It's ros@greensafaris.com. It's very easy, ROS. And I will happily forward that newsletter to you. So let's move on. So for those of you who don't know the falls, and I'm sure you do all, but we always say to you, look at Victoria Falls as a destination rather than Zam. There's always reasons to cross borders. In the low water, when it's sort of, August, September, October, this is the falls is only coming over this side. But then Livingston Island comes into play. And 70% of our business that comes to Livingston Island comes from Zimbabwe. So they're crossing the border anyway during low season. And during high season, both sides don't need to cross onto each other because they both have spectacular views of the falls. I will do a Q&A at the end to answer any of your questions. So why Zambia? Obviously, Victoria Falls, pristine wilderness areas, all very different, unknown, spoiled, friendly and safe, sometimes to their detriment, because I sometimes think bad news puts countries in headlines, and Zambia never has any bad news, so it tends to not be as well known as any of the other countries. But it's absolutely an incredible destination. As I said, every park is different. Some of them have got canoeing, tiger fishing, walking. There's not just the emphasis always around being on a game viewing vehicle. And then the easy access, obviously, through Lusaka and Livingston. Why green safaris? Well, I think we have the top camps around the concept of green and sustainability. Dream circuit end to end, offering the transfers and everything like that, and also the most sustainable part, which I will discuss towards the end, around our carbon footprints and the e-vehicles and the e-boats, etc. This is a picture of the e-boat, which is actually behind me as well. So Tongabezi, I believe Tongabezi is a hell of a unique product. I've been involved with this product for 15 years, Ben Parker being the original owner. And I've seen the transition from them to green safaris. And again, the mantra of why change a winning formula. Nothing changed here other than perhaps increasing the social development that Ben had started. We now have 2 organic farms. We have a chicken farm. All of that is providing extra employment in the area. Also a lot of farm-to-table food around that. We've introduced a skills center there, the similar and on the sort of emphasis of what the skills center is on Mawa. So yeah, a lot more community involvement and negotiate and engagement. The drive from the airport to Tongabezi is about 35 minutes. Then actually, if you're coming from Vic Falls, it's exactly an hour and a half. Our new government is very involved in tourism and driving tourism because they see the benefit of it. And they've made it visa-free, which is a wonderful thing. And yeah, I think our uniqueness is around the location. You don't hear the helicopters and the buzzing of all of that ahead of you. Ben always wanted to have these many faceted areas for people to explore. So there are various main areas. There isn't one main area where you go and sit and have your meals in. He felt that every meal needed to be an activity. So whether you were on the hangout or the lookout or on the deck here or in your own private room or on a dhow boat chugging down the river or on a sampan or picnic on an island, every single meal needs to be an activity, and your valets are allocated to you to be able to make sure that happens. So you can have every single meal private in your room if you wanted to, or you could experience all the wonderful things that we offer as part and parcel of our rates. We will also never be a chrome and glass and concrete buildings. We are always going to be authentic to what a safari lodge or lodge in Africa should be. And our decor is very much around that. It's open all year. This is the river cottages. There's something for everyone. We have standard entry levels. We've got premium houses, plunge pools. We've got sole use villas. So honeymoon families. There's something for everyone at Tongabezi. We take children of all ages. So this is the river cottages, our honeymoon houses. Unfortunately, I can't show you every single room, but on your agent's portal or on the website, you will be able to see the image gallery and get a little bit more insight into it. But our decor, we feel, is very in tune with what we feel Africa should be and put forward. We try to do a lot of our decor using sustainable suppliers. So Mafui Textiles, the Skills Center at Tongabezi, Katundo on Mawa, so for example, this pillow here comes from Katundo on Mawa. So we try to use them as much as possible. Treehouse, for anyone who wants to do treehouse living. And then you've got Sindabezi Island. So Sindabezi was Ben's fully green, sustainable property. And again, one of the reasons why Green Safaris got involved. It's a private island, 5 rooms. You can take it sole use, only children from 9 up. The honeymoon chalet has got a beautiful beach in front, so we can do private dining, but we also have decks around. So if you had you hadn't taken an island privately, and there were more than 3 or 4 or 5 couples on, we are able to still do an element of private dining on the islands. on the island. We still also have the same inclusions and exclusions here as we would at Tongabezi. So there is a sampan, there is a dhow boat, picnic islands, lunches, etc. It is bush camp style, so you can have everything zipped up or zipped down. That's just a picture of the sampan. And then moving on to Livingston Island, for those of you who know, this here is Devil's Pool. And it sort of opens in around August and closes in around February. Outside of those months, we do have Angel's Pool, and then outside of Angel's Pools, we have rock pools. We've now got a third pool in play. So we always try to get clients into the falls. The breezer includes breakfast, and then you've obviously got lunch and high tea. So you'll see here is Zim across the way, and that's why we get a lot of people coming across, because they're doing tour of the falls, and then they see the guy swimming in the falls and they want to go do it. So they head across. Sausage Tree in Tongabezi. I was very blessed to be down in this area for about 10 days a few years ago. And once I got into the park, I realized why you wanted to be in the park. There were a lot more game coming down to the, although I'm not saying the elephants aren't there, they're here, they come through all these camps, but there seemed to be a lot more buffalo and hippo and elephant, and the tiger fish seemed to be bigger, and crocodiles were bigger. And yeah, I just felt, oh, I get it. That's why you want to be in the park. And Sausage Tree and Potato Bush are beautifully located. The park has a mountain range at the back, and so this area does flood. So that's why we only open in April. And so the game sort of gets captured between that and the river, and it creates a majorly beautiful game viewing area. And of course, you get to do canoeing, tiger fishing. They do these beautiful lunches where you come around with this hovercraft boat around the corner, and there's this lunch set up in the water with your feet in the water. And there's always game around you when you're canoeing. My husband saw leopard cubs off the banks of the river while he was canoeing. We went out on one safari because my son was a big fisherman, and we saw lions on that one safari, we saw leopards on one safari. So, and I watched the forms coming through all the time from clients since we took over, and I see that the game viewing is absolutely amazing. It wasn't just a fluke when we were there. So as I said, air breezes have just been installed, 8 rooms, 1 family unit, take children of all ages. Very quick and easy to get into. This is sort of your views that you have over the lower Zambezi. And then you've got the Potato Bush next door, which is sort of 4-star. We only take children from 4 up here. It does have a family room as well, which is that room, all plunge pools, etc. This will be the next camp that's going to get its air breezes as well. Then up into Kafue, just so that you know, to give you some perspective, Kruger gets 1.5 million visitors a year. This gets 10,000 visitors a year. So when you come into this park, when you go in the line sightings, it's yours. You can spend as much time as you want. You can actually also go with African Parks, which is what the Zambian government also did. They signed their contract with African Parks. You can go and go on any of their, go and hear what they have to say, or have them come and give you a talk. Panthera projects as well. We use Shunga airstrip for Ila, and we use Busanga airstrip for Chisa. Unfortunately, Ila's main area burnt down a couple of months ago, and we are, and again, on the Friday's newsletter, there would have been an architectural drawing of what we're planning for the main area. It was just the main area. The rooms are untouched. Our boats and our floating spa and all of that were untouched. The solar plant was untouched. It's just the main area. And we are mimicking the nests in our building of our main area at Ila. So it's really going to be spectacular when that finishes. So again, have a look at the newsletter we sent. You'll see some drawings of that. Busanga Plains is a lake that it sort of recedes the water in May. We go in, we reopen the camp, and then the camp opens in June and then closes again around the 15th of November. So a lot of clients combine this, and of course we do include the flights in between as well as part of our Wings and Meals incentive. It's an amazing area, and the two areas don't look the same, I have to say. So you can easily combine the two. We have this electric boat, as I said earlier, which we do private lunches on. We do our sundowner cruises. I'm just going to it does have 10 tents, 2 families, children of all ages. That's the family tent. 2 rooms with freestanding baths for sort of honeymooners. I'm going to quickly skip through this because the main areas are no longer standing. So, but that's a picture of the private lunch. Fishing in the Kafue River as well. So just another element. And then I've got the floating spa as well. So up here, you'll see a picture there actually of the air breezer. It's a white canopy that comes over the bed and it blows cool air onto the bed. So these are the air conditioners that are run off solar basically. Chisa is very unique in the fact that we decided to build these nests off the ground for 2 reasons. Number one, from a green perspective, it doesn't take up your carbon footprint. So if you picked up the lodge and you wouldn't even know that we've been there. Every single plant was taken out and replanted when we built this. One of them has a lift, and it is operated off solar. The whole camp is operated off solar. We don't even have a generator here as backup because it works that well. And yeah, it's just a beautiful, beautiful area. Only 8 people in camp. The vehicles that we have both at Ila, Chisa, and Shawa. We do have diesel backup, so because the e-vehicle concept is quite new, and if a vehicle goes into maintenance, it does take us a little bit longer to get a part or whatever. We do our own maintenance as well on these vehicles. So we do have a diesel backup just in case. Someone asked me the other day, are the animals scared of it? No, I've been on them. We've had elephant walk right past. We've had wild dogs lying on the vehicle's tire. Leopards come past. The only time I ever saw them get scared was when the vehicle actually took off. The wild dogs got a bit of a fright because it's not that vroom when you start it. It sort of glides away. But it is a game changer. You hear the bird calls, the alarm calls, which are important to find in game, the smells. It's just an incredible it's a complete game changer. The other thing that I noticed when I was there and our jaw was hanging open was just how raw it is. There's thousands of buffalo and roan and sable. I've never seen such massive big herds of roan and sable like I did here. I know the only other place I've ever seen sable and roan in that degree is Wangi in small herds, but here was really big. And also, again, seeing the guests' feedback forms coming out, there's a constant, lions, cheetah, leopards, wild dog coming through on the feedback forms. So, and also I see a lot of, oh my God, I wish I'd spent more than 2 days here. That's definitely coming through a lot. We always thought, well, okay, maybe 2 days was enough, but actually I think to put clients here for longer is definitely worth it. Your clients will not be disappointed with their game period. As I said, that's the season. This is an internal picture of it taken before the air breezer was put up. We do have this black gauze that zips up, which is your mozzie net. And then you've got you can have it all closed up if you want, but nobody ever asks us to. It is 2 3/4 beds pushed together, so they can be split or made together, but it does give you a size of what it does look like inside, or the size of it is. Shower basin, toilet, beautiful little main area. Again, because it's only 8 guests in camp, if it's full, we don't need to have a massive main area. And you will even see down the bottom here, we don't even have a permanent floor because, again, it goes to your footprint. And we've tried to stay with natural fibers as much as possible in the decor, which I love. Even the walls are made with sisal bags and organic paint. The swimming pool has natural chemicals. It gets pumped every couple of days because you don't want to be back washing acid and chlorine into a pristine environment like this. So these are the e-vehicles. So this area reminds me a little bit more as like Serengeti and the Kwai area sort of rolled into one. Sorry, I'm just going to close my door. So you'll see here, this is a tributary that gets left down after the water's receded, and this beautiful green grass comes up, and that's what attracts the game in these big herds down into this area. I also saw thousands of storks sitting down and along this tributary, and birds of prey, just sitting along this tributary, which is incredible. of course, the romantic stuff that goes along with it. And then up into Shawa, for those of you who know the South Luangwa, we don't go through the main gate. We don't get involved what happens at the main gate. We go north. We're 45 minutes from the airport. We are beautifully situated inside a sausage tree forest. We have our own direct access directly into South Luangwa from there. Plus, we have our own road that we carve out into the Nsefu sector. So we traverse both areas. Again, e-vehicles as well. Again, around living, it's sort of treehouse living, silent vehicles. The swimming pool doesn't have also chlorine and acid. We use other natural chemicals and pump it. We've just installed the air breezes here as well. 4 tents. One is a family unit, so we can take children from 9 up. I recently had a comment from an agent that brought 8 people through and was sharing and said, oh, and they had the family unit, and the family unit's actually quite close, and they thought that's how close the rooms were. But it's not. There's definitely privacy between the other tents and the family tent. We just can't put 2 couples in the family tent because it's too close. We can either put a couple or a family in there. So we did put down that, and we did open in April this year. I will tell you that it was a nightmare for us because of Cyclone Freddy. We have to wait, and all the camps have to wait for parks to grade roads. And so it was, it became a problem for us with the late rain. So we've decided this year we're not going to open in April. We're going to rather open in 1st of May. We want to make sure we're promising clients we can deliver, that we deliver. And so game viewing was very tough, not just for us, for all the lodges. So we've decided not to open in April. We will only open on the 1st of May. The idea, again, treehouse living with a 360-degree view. I have to say, I lay here in November 2 years ago, and a big herd of elephant moved past me, and it was full moon, and it was absolutely blew my mind in how beautiful and spiritual that was. It has its outdoor shower. It's got its little sunken bath. Recently, we had a feedback form from a client who just said, oh, I love that bath. Again, you've got the black zip up that zips all the way for your muzzy net, or you can have it zipped all the way with the canvas. But again, nobody ever asks. Our main area is built up off the ground again, but we do use the swimming pool area for our brunches, etc. Only because there's a lot of elephant that move through. And yeah, we just feel it's a safer option. But it also does go to your footprint. We don't really want to build everything on the ground. If you picked the camp up and moved it, you would not be leaving anything behind. And then you leave after, oh, that's the other thing I will note about South Luangwa. It has the highest concentration of hippo and croc in any park. That's why you can't traverse the Luangwa River. And the hippos feed off sausage trees, and that spreads throughout the park. And so we have a very high concentration of baboons in this park. Baboons obviously let you know where predators are. So in fact, this park has really good, very good predator sightings because of that. But obviously elephant as well, and it has I want to say reticulated giraffe, but it has no, I don't think it's that, but there's a specific species of giraffe that only comes in South Luangwa. The name escapes me now. And then from Mafui, you leave after breakfast, and by lunchtime you're on Lakoma Island. We have our own, as I said, meet and greets in Lilongwe. It's an amazing little island. You can take an e-bike and go and drive yourselves around and immerse yourself in the community. So if somebody really wants to do that, it's the best place to do it. My favorite place of all time, and I've been to quite a lot. I've been to Mozambique, I've been up to Vilanculas, I've been onto the islands, I've been everywhere. And for me, this was, and I've been back 3 times, I just absolutely love it. You forget that you're actually not on the sea, that you're on a lake. What's wonderful about it, it's fresh water, no hippos, no crocs. We test the water for bilharzia twice a year. There is none this far north. The lake is massive, and we are very far north, so we do not have bilharzia. And of course, because no hippos and crocs, it opens up to a plethora of activities that we can do. The original owner, James, obviously was a brother-in-law to Ben, who owned Tongabezi. So the rooms themselves are very much based on that same concept. We have standard rooms, family rooms, endomas, a soul-use house like Tengala House, premier rooms with plunge pools, etc. It's opening 1st of April, because obviously the rainy season is before that. Cyclone Freddy did give us a run for our money this year, but generally speaking, that doesn't happen. So we safely open on the 1st of April. But this is what it is. It's flat, it's warm, the water's 25 degrees, it doesn't drop below that. So you can be on safari in June and July, and you can come here and swim and snorkel and be absolutely fine. I know I did it, and I was flabbergasted. Every room is different, every bathroom is different, built of the rocks. All of this decor, you see all these cushions, comes from our skills center. Recycled glass chandeliers from there. It really is magnificent. And again, the decor is very much around sort of that African style, but sort of more shabby chic beach style, I would say. So yeah, I mean, from an activity point of view, I mean, I know my son did bubble school here. He canoed with me around to Ndoma House. He learned how to sail here. But we do offer full paddy diving. A lot of the fresh water you see in the aquariums come from these lakes. We offer water skiing, tubing, spa, subbing, snorkeling, e-bikes, snorkeling right off your room. You don't even have to get in a boat. This is a cathedral that was been built years ago by the missionaries. It's in here, which is fascinating to go and see, especially on a Sunday. If the community is worshipping, it's quite spiritual to go there. This is a picture of our skills center. These are termite beads that they harden, and then they dye them white, black, or blue and make these chandeliers. These are teething beads that they use they actually bring them in. Coconut husks that they bring in. This is recycled glass chandeliers, as I said before. The cushions that they bead, table runners. This is what they use to recycle the glass out of the wine bottles. It's absolutely incredible what these ladies produce. It's very inspiring. And so, yeah, I mean, people can engage with all of our projects as much as they want. Planting trees, we've increased our bamboo plantations. Bamboo plantations provides an alternative source of energy for the community so they don't chop down trees. And also that offsets your carbon footprint. We do reforestation projects as well. School projects. The whole emphasis of our green safaris is not just to address how to stop poaching by supporting anti-poaching projects, which we do, but it's also to address communities and why communities poach. So poverty, you know, breeds all sorts of things. I mean, if you're starving, you're going to go and shoot an animal, and it also breeds crime, poverty. So they are trying to address that. So that's why we have these organic farms, the pig farms, the chicken farms, and these alternative sources of fuel, etc. We actually Life by Connect goes and lives in the communities and teaches them how to farm without using pesticides, and how to create natural fertilizers, and how to make it into a business. We are audited, and the audited report is available on our agents portal. Obviously, because of the organic farms, we enjoy farm-to-table food. This is just a snapshot of some of the foundation stuff that we've done in 2022. We obviously get audited at the end of 2023, and that will be posted. But very much, it's big. It's not just around that. There's upliftment programs for ladies, for young girls. There's teaching them about overfishing and sustainable fishing, and how to keep their goats in check so that they don't eat all their crops, and without being cruel, basically. There's a lot. I mean, there's a little thing that tells you, I mean, I could sit here for an hour telling you all of the beautiful things that they've done and continue to do with the foundation, etc. And then just some down the bottom of some of the stuff. I mean, for example, he took Kafue from Mawa, Lacoma Island, and up to Netherlands, and he worked in a 2-star Michelin restaurant. This guy's come back being, when I ate his food, I couldn't believe what I was eating. I felt like I was sitting in a Michelin star restaurant. And he, of course, has imparted that knowledge to all of our other chefs. So the food that you see, you feel. And it's very fresh. You know, safari food can be overwhelming at times when you've got so much that you're eating, etc. So we try to bring a fresh element, salads and vegetables, into our food. So that very much is part of the organic stuff that we do. And we do get audited on our footprints as well. Right. Can you show us the map of Malawi once again? Sure, no problem. Let me just go back. Yeah. I'm assuming you mean Lacoma Island. Or do you want the whole map? I'm not sure, but let's go back. So that's the island, the map of Lacoma Island. This is the map of Zambia and Malawi. So this is Lake Malawi. You can imagine how big it is. This is Lake Kariba here, and that's big. And then you've got, you know, Lake Malawi, which is absolutely massive. And then Lacoma Island is here. So it's 18 square kilometers. I know when I was here, I jumped on a dhow boat with my son. We had a cooler box, food and some drinks, and we went around and we snorkeled, we fished, we stopped for food on a little island and carried on, and we went all the way around. And we had to speed up towards the end because I had a spa treatment, tough life. But yeah, it was just an incredible thing to do and to experience. This is the port, so we can offer boat transfers around Mawa for a different element, or we do road transfers from the airstrip to Mawa as well. I'm just going to go to the top of here. Somebody didn't have sound. I would like to have the packages, want to load them on our website. Please do send me an email. It's much easier for me to remember. It's ros, R-O-S, at greensafaris.com. Yeah, I mean, we were affected by the cyclone. I have to say, we had some of our walkways be taken away, but they've all been replaced and repaired. I must admit, I don't know what the mainland situation is. I haven't seen anything or heard anything. I think it was more that, you know, as it comes across the lake, it dissipates. And I'm not sure, and I think further north they might have had an issue, but I can't speak to that. But I know in Lacoma we did have some issues around the rooms that had walkways that came across rocky areas, but they've all been fixed now. Thornycroft giraffe. Thank you, Michael. That's what I was thinking of. So I've showed that. So Mawa is not that difficult to get to. We've got Kenyan Airways that comes in from Nairobi. We've got Ethiopian that comes in from Addis Ababa. We've got Ethiopia that also comes in from Lusaka, Harare, Johannesburg. We now have Airlink coming in from Johannesburg. And then, of course, as we've said at the very beginning, we include the flights from Lilongwe to Lacoma and back again on Nyasa Air. And Nyasa Air, when we started out of COVID, it was only going 3 days a week. It now meets every aircraft. We have our own personal meet and greets. So it's so seamless and so easy to get to Mawa. As I said, especially if you're combining it with a Zambian safari out of Mufui, it's absolutely seamless because the two meet, that you're coming in and then you go straight out again. And again, you're most welcome to get in touch with me if you need some more information on that. Simon, I think I answered your question around wildlife and the e-vehicles. We have absolutely no issues with wildlife and reacting to e-vehicles. They're not scared of it. And I will tell you that I have been on safari in the Northern Sabi Sand with Chisa Plains where they've got e-vehicles and no issues whatsoever, no change in behavior at all. What species don't you see in Kafue? Well, rhino in the whole of Zambia. But we do offer walking with rhino at Tongabezi. They're very, very protected. There is a project underway with African Parks to reintroduce rhino. And they've got massive funding, and there's a whole project over the next 10 years to reintroduce rhino. And of course, sorry, the best place to see leopards, well, I think South Luangwa knocks the socks off it, and certainly Busanga Plains, they see leopard, and Lower Zam, all three of them, you are going to see leopard that I've seen. But I think South Luangwa at the moment, because of what I said earlier about the predators and the baboons, you have a better chance of seeing them there. Interesting, I've read every single one of Chisa's feedback forms over the last 2 weeks, and every single one saw leopard. So it's an interesting concept. What is the double bedroom doghouse? So yeah, so the doghouse itself has 2 rooms. Let me just quickly see if I can get out of here, and I'll go back quickly to that picture. Okay, so this is doghouse. Doghouse is 2 rooms. So this is 1 room. And then if you look through the trees, there's another room there. And it's got its swimming pool in the middle with its own lounge dining area. So the rooms themselves are exactly the same size. You can put a 3rd bed in here. We do have, I think, 7 extra beds at Tonga. So you just have to check with reservations when booking it. So you can actually have 2 families. You can have a family in this one and a family in the other one if they're traveling together. And then they've got their own little private lodge at Tongabezi. You just have to check with reservations around the availability of the extra beds. Right, I hope I've answered everyone's questions. Is there any others? No? Wonderful. Then I've done my job. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate you taking the time to join me. And as I said, please drop me an email if you need any information from me directly, and I will certainly email it to you. Oh, one. Oh, thank you, Roz. Absolute pleasure, Suzanne. Okay, guys. Thanks very much.